Okay, welcome Nottingham to another board of Selectmen meeting. I'd like to open this meeting with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started, I'd like to recognize the supervisors of the checklist and all the election folks that worked the day of the election, to include members of the Board of Selectmen. Great job, went rather smoothly considering the heat. So just wanted to thank them again, and congrats. So, has everybody had an opportunity to look at the manifest?
Yep.
All right, any issues?
Nope.
No? Okay, do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the accounts payable manifest of 6/14/2021 and the payroll of 6/15/2021.
Second.
You have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. I guess we gotta go through 5.3 and 5.17 too, right? Because you did 6.4. Right?
I'm sorry, what?
I would assume that the agenda is correct.
Okay, so.
That's what I have.
All right. Everybody looked at the 5.3?
Yeah, I
Yep.
had looked at these.
Okay.
These were,
Motion?
I was fine with them. Make a motion to, excuse me, to approve the public meeting minutes from May 3rd, 2021, as, did anyone amend them? Were there any changes? No? Okay, as written.
Okay. Have a second?
I'll second that,
We
yeah.
have a motion and a second, all in favor? Unanimous. Is 5.17 a payroll, Chris? Is that what, or is that also minute?
No, that's minutes, that's meeting minutes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 5/17/21 as written.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay. Budget's not meeting, 300th, Tyler's not here, planning board,
I just, for the 300, if people haven't gone to Nottingham Square, please drive past it. The flags are up, it's quite impressive.
yes, a number of flags are up, looks very good, and I guess Tyler had helped make that happen as well, so thank you, Tyler. Planning board, Tyler's not here, CIP,
Not
Yeah.
not in session, Marston.
Season.
We got Marston later on the agenda, so let's talk about the whole thing all
Okay.
at once.
Moving right along. Town administrator report.
All right, summer camp starts next week. You see all the gear back there, we're starting to get ready to move up to the school. Upcoming meeting topics include the PLIA next week for their, what is typically an
Yep.
annual visit to talk about the monitoring program. I assume that will come with a request for some funds from that ETF. The old town hall, the heat problem we had this winter that turned into a plumbing problem. We're gonna be back discussing what to do with the old town hall. We've got a bunch of plumbing repairs to make because we had frozen pipes, and here we go again. So that's coming up. Fire chief's coming in to talk staffing. That's probably a few meetings from now, but and I think those are the next big question, big subjects over the summer. Other than what if there's anything else you want to hear about from any of the departments, let me know. We can lay out the summer. We're not too heavy on deadlines in the summer, so it's a good time to do the big picture
Yep.
conversations. You don't get a lot of face time with some of those department heads, so if there's anything you're interested in, let me know. The one question for you, our personnel policy is not super clear about what to do with holidays that fall on the weekend. The 4th of July this year is on a Sunday.
Yep.
What the feds do and what most people do is say Monday's the holiday and pay, make holiday pay on that Monday, close the offices on that day, etc. That's not crystal clear in our policy, so everybody's been coming to me saying, hey,
Yeah.
we get a holiday on Monday. What's your pleasure?
I would be in favor of If it's a holiday that falls on a weekend, either Friday or the Monday, but typically it's a Monday. I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, so I can tell you what my company is doing is for 4th of July, we have Monday off.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day and New Year's Day are on Saturday, and so we have the Friday before each of those off.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah, I have Monday off, I wouldn't begrudge anyone that,
yeah,
so.
Yep.
I don't know how we didn't catch that earlier in the year, but
Yeah.
I think it was the kind of thing we just kind of railroaded through in the past, but.
so we're making that guidance on any holiday that's on a weekend, not just this 4th
Yeah,
of July.
I would say
So,
to
yeah.
write up a
We'll just.
correction to
Yeah.
the,
We're gonna put that in
exactly.
the policy,
Yeah, yeah.
but,
Yep.
we didn't have time for that.
Yep.
Okay. A couple of us talked about this before the meeting started. The governor's order allowing Zoom or any kind of remote meeting has lapsed, so all of our board meetings, all public meetings have to be in person. The ZBA met last week, just after that thing lapsed, and is gonna meet tomorrow night to discuss rehearing what they did that night, to correct that error. Just so you know, that's what they're up to.
Yeah.
That meeting will be in person, and any subsequent rehearing would be in person. It does, and that kind of came to light with a question from the chair late last week, and worked it out with council on how to correct it. It's messy, but it will be legal in the end, if the ZBA does decide to rehear that tomorrow. They're not hearing it tomorrow, they're just deciding tomorrow.
Procedure
about
tomorrow.
rehearing. The way
Yep.
the way the ZBA works, you decide to rehear it, and then you set a date and rehear it. So that's going on tomorrow. It does beg the question for you, do you want to pursue anything in the way of a hybrid meeting capability? We touched on that, we had tinkered with hot wiring our systems in here at the beginning of COVID, where we had it so you could be in the room and be on Zoom and on TV and kind of do it, and it really didn't work well with us doing things like, putting a microphone next to a speaker so that
Yeah.
everything would work right. We don't have the capability to do it, but if it's something that you want to pursue, so that people can participate remotely without coming to a meeting, I throw that out there. It wouldn't be cheap, but it is doable. It's technologically possible, so.
But if the governor had allowed the Zoom meetings to lapse and we do a hybrid, what's the legality? I mean, they can't vote or.
It would be more for the public than it would be for board members.
Okay,
It'd be no different than broadcasting on cable.
right.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's like trading a cable broadcast for an internet broadcast, but that could allow for input remotely into your meeting. So somebody could be remote and
Okay.
testify. So-
Does that qualify as a Zoom meeting, though?
No.
Okay.
That's allowed.
Okay,
As long as there's a physical place that the public can be and see the meeting.
got it, okay.
The remote capability is over and above that.
Got it.
I can tell you that in Durham, we have in the council chambers, there are cameras that broadcast the members, and there are TVs that the board members watch and are watching people on Zoom and can hear those people and
Oh,
and
interesting.
converse with the people remotely. It's
so what
technologically possible.
would the cost be involved in that?
You started down that road and we got
I
scared.
did, and we got, well, yeah, it was, I don't remember the numbers offhand, but I can dig up that.
Tens of
quote.
thousands?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 30-ish, does that sound about
Yeah,
right?
I would say 30 to
But,
50.
but, here's the thing, all of our broadcast equipment is mid-90s, beyond end of life, needs to be replaced anyways, right? Because, the older it gets, the harder it's gonna be to find components
Yeah.
to fix it, if and when it fails, right? With modern equipment, right, we would have a native ability to plug a laptop into the faceplate
So-
and tie in a Zoom system, effectively turning it into a Zoom room. So that capability would be there natively if we needed it if we upgrade.
So is that, I'm just throwing that number out, because
Yeah.
someone mentioned 30,000. Is that a one-time thing, or is that a yearly? What is that?
That's buying replacement gear.
Okay, so what would it be after that? Is there a monthly fee or
what
something, or?
What do we,
Yeah, I don't think we got much on that. The licensing shouldn't be much more than we're paying now for that capability.
presume?
Yeah.
So,
The trick is, do you have anybody coordinating it while the meeting's going on? So what can you do? We're on autopilot right now, where the thing
Right.
turns on.
Yeah.
And you get one camera view,
Yeah,
and you can't really, you can see what's going on. I don't know if I'm actually on TV right now. I don't.
yeah,
think so.
you're kind
barely.
of hidden a little bit, but,
Yeah, so, what do you do with that capability? Who's switching? Who's doing the switching? Who's saying who's talking, who's not? What's on the camera? What's on screen? It may mean that we have to have somebody,
Do you have
You know.
voice-activated cameras though, right?
yeah.
it's doable.
Yeah.
But then like, like if, if you're talking and I cough and then the camera switches to me,
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
I don't know how to,
Chris,
this
federal funding that we get, could this be labeled as infrastructure or something like that? Could fall into that category?
yeah, I have to go look at the details, but it feels like something that might fit.
yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
public communication.
Yeah.
I would feel better,
Infrastructure, public access.
I would feel better using that funding, rather than
You
asking.
also have your cable access fund.
Right.
Which has
Right.
got 30 probably in it.
Plenty of money.
For the town and the school.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Tony, I know it's ballpark, but if you throw out 30, does that get us to what you think, the ideal system would be for us? Or is it just kind of gets us to the next step, but then
No,
there's,
I'm not big on Band-Aids. But yeah, I think we had a couple of outfits in here and told them exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we wanted to modernize our broadcast capability and also have the ability to patch in a computer for,
Yeah.
Zoom purposes
So-
or broadcasting a PowerPoint while somebody was talking over the television,
So how about we do this? Chris will just do some more research, and if the board's okay with this, we'll put Tony in charge as far as,
Tony wants to be.
Let me dig up the quotes
Yeah.
that we got previously and then,
Yeah, he speaks this language much better than I
Yeah.
do.
But you're gonna research as far as it fits in the criteria.
Oh, sure, yeah, I can do that part.
Yeah.
I'm with you though, I don't, like, if we're gonna do it, let's not do it
Let's
Band-Aid.
do it
Let's do it
right.
right,
Let's do it
yeah.
right.
under the expectation that it's probably going to sit here for the next 20 years.
How far advanced is the school over us?
I would say not as much as you might think.
Okay,
That's probably.
okay, fair enough. Got it, that's fine,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, and maybe if we're thinking about, spending a lot of money on a Zoom room, we should think about a joint.
Pooling, get a better deal if we
Or,
pool with
well,
them. Better equipment.
or share a space,
Oh, for meetings,
yeah.
yeah. So we're setting up one center.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a thought.
Well, it's worth exploring all the options.
Well, the smaller conference room could be the Zoom room. As long as the equipment is in a wheeled cabinet like that, we could move it to wherever it needed to
But
go.
between here and the school
Yeah.
is what you're suggesting.
Yeah, it seems, for something that, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 televised meetings a month here out of the town office.
Yeah.
They have 2,
Yeah,
to have 2 $30,000 rooms for.
Yeah.
That's
They
fair.
could just borrow ours.
That's fair.
Doesn't seem,
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't want to go chasing it if it's not something, if that number was going to scare you off, then.
Yeah.
not if we have it in the fund, in the cable fees or whatever you call it, yeah.
All right, so we can keep.
We'll
chipping
keep,
away at that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that's all I needed on that subject. These little beauties here, Sean got us these from their Public Works vendor. I was
Nice.
thinking about making these available to employees and to you folks as a quasi-uniform kind of thing for,
Nice.
Public events.
yeah, we don't require it, but sometimes it might be nice to be
Chris, could you
something
show
other
me here,
than,
please?
Yeah,
other than these. So,
That's nice.
If it's something you're interested in, let me know. I can, we haven't figured out, pricing and stuff, but not something I would make available to the public, so it doesn't look like people are representing the
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Uniformish, okay.
They make it in my size.
I would assume so. If they don't, then you and I are both out of luck. And lastly, I think, yes, lastly, your meeting next week, I am going on vacation next week, so I won't be here for your next meeting. Over the next 2 weeks, there will be chunks of time where I will be off the grid, so I don't know what you want me to tell our department heads in my absence what to do if they need something that I typically deliver. I don't know what your pleasure is, but.
I say we rotate the department heads to sit in that seat. That was a joke.
Give him Ben's number.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they should start with the chair,
Okay.
vice chair, or, and if they can't get a hold of them, then
Than any of
anybody.
us.
I mean, like, I work from home, so I'm always
Okay.
accessible.
I
And
will
we
do
can
that.
each,
yeah,
Pop
take
in.
turns, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
pop in,
pop
yeah,
in, yeah.
like we've done in the past, yeah.
And that's it, other than running through the warrant, which we can do at the end of general business if you want. I'm prepared to do that if you wish. Other than that, it's just general business from you.
Okay. Action item review, last meeting, we went over the minutes. Assessing, John, you said you wanted to,
Yeah, I'm gonna recuse myself from this. Since I'm
Okay.
one of the cases.
yep. Didn't know if you wanted to speak for it.
Yeah, but when you get there, I'll just.
All right,
I'm just
okay.
gonna throw in some excerpts about some things for you guys to listen to.
well, so, I mean, how do you want to do this process-wise?
Well, he said he was gonna recuse himself.
No, I
from
understand, but he
all of
also
it,
wants
so
to make comments, so how are we gonna make the motion, and when are we gonna allow him to make comments?
We'll do his last, give him
Yeah.
a chance to speak, and then we'll vote.
Okay.
Works for me.
I will make a motion that we approve elderly exemptions for map 63, lot 17, and map 70, lot 53.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? 3-0, unanimous.
Hold on, the map 70 and the map 63?
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Got it.
All right, I'll make a motion, the select board approve land use change tax sub 11 for map 58 lot 7. Land use change tax sub 1-2 for map 58 lot 7.
It's like, 1-3.
1-2 is on the other side.
Oh, sorry.
And
my
then,
apologies.
land use change tax sub 1-3 for map 58 lot 7.
Second,
Okay, a motion and a second, all in favor? 3-0, unanimous.
I will make a motion, the select board approve land use change tax, from map 71, lot 150-1, and map 71, lot 150-3.
second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Right?
3-0 is unanimous.
And John, you're 63, 47-B, right?
Yeah.
Or A, B, and C. Yeah.
Yeah, are you all or just B? John,
Question?
are you A, B, and C, or just B?
Well, I wanna speak on all of them, but that's all right. I'm only really, I mean, B's mine, but.
Okay.
Where's 66 fallen? That's not yours,
I'm
John?
doing that right now. I'm gonna make a motion, the select board approve land use change tax for map 66, lot 1-4.
All right, you want to do all 63s together, and then we'll,
Oh, I just made a motion on 66.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry, second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? 3-0 unanimous.
I had them all lumped together, so can you just go back to the first motion and just tell me which one that was, and then I'll change it?
So after we did the elderly exemptions, we did a motion for, land use change tax on, map 58, lot 7, sub 11, sub 12, and sub 13.
And then the second
And
one,
then after that, I made a motion for map 71, lots 150-1 and 150-3. And then the last motion was for map 66, lot 1-4. So we're gonna lump all these 63s
Yeah,
together?
so why don't you make a motion, I'll
Okay.
second, and then he can,
Okay.
comment.
All right, I'll make a motion, the select board approve the land use change tax for map 63, lots 47, 47-A, 47-B, and 47-C.
I will second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Did you want to discuss?
Yeah, it's up to you, you gotta let me.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
So, as of these, what you've just approved, for the the land use, current use tax, if you notice that the 150s, 153s, the ones you've just approved, all those sold at market value for the price that they sold for is what they're being charged the current use tax on. Lot 47A, 47C, and 47B, all were on open market. They're out there for everybody to see. A realtor was selling all the properties for the owner, and every one of those sold for under what they're trying to put the current tax use on open market. Mine, for instance, 110. Lot A sold for 125. Lot C, I think, was 135. They have them all taxed higher under the current use than what the open market said the property was worth. So, I know the rules is we have to file an abatement. I'm not asking you guys to change your minds, and not asking you guys not to vote yes on it. You know, I'm not about not paying what I have to owe. But, I wanna make it clear that when, a response from Avatar, which I know I have to go through the abatement form, of why these 3 lots were singled out, and I was on the Board of Assessors for 7, 8 years. I don't ever recall a house or a lot being sold unless it was on the arm, being a family exchange or a friend won, that was on the market that Avatar had ever appraised higher. None of these have water rights, none of them. So my question is, where did they come up with this value when the open market told them what the value is, and that's how we base it everything on? So I feel that they made a mistake on all 3 of these lots. And I wanna know how they're gonna justify it.
When you say they, you're referring to Avatar?
I'm referring to Avatar and how they got, and when I do my abatement, I will be asking them to explain where they got their values, because I know if I'm applying for abatement, I have to show just cause on what was recently sold in town, and value-wise, to justify my actions of why my value is worth this, and from theirs, in order to make the abatement. So that will be coming, but just for you guys to notice that, maybe question, if you want to vote on it or not, why'd they do it?
But these land use change tax entries are because these lots just sold?
Yes.
Yes, they came out of, they were current use and they came out of current use.
Yeah,
So when you come out of current use, you gotta pay your
right.
tax on there, but there's a value that's set, and it's usually set by the market of what the retail market is for it. You know, you can't say it's worth 80,000 if somebody's gonna pay 120,000, but you can't say it's worth 150,000 if the only person's gonna pay 120. It can't be worth it, if no one's paying 150, how's it worth 150?
Right.
If the going market value that they paid, and these were on the market for months, they weren't just on the market for 2 days and did quick sales. I mean, mine was on the market for almost 90 days. So, how do they justify marking it over the retail value? That's where my question comes in. And I'd like to know where they're getting those values from, because they even said comps on the other paper you got, and none of those comps equal out to what they were doing. So, tell me if I'm doing it wrong, or if they're doing it wrong, or why is it the way it is. So that's something I will. So,
I usually go to you with assessing questions,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
well, again,
So we've got 2 choices here, basically. One is that we say, okay, we as the assessing board want to look into it more closely on it ourselves.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Well,
because I don't want you to do it any favor to me, because I know the process of going through it.
Well, and that's kind of where I was headed, John.
Okay.
If we do that, all we're doing is delaying the process for you. Because at the end of the day, it's gotta be Avatar that comes back. So, you know, my suggestion is that we vote on it, approve it, and then let him kick off his abatement process.
Because the abatement's a separate process and it doesn't affect this at all.
Well, you guys would be also in the wrong by changing it right now. If you didn't say, without
Yeah.
consulting them, that would not be
Correct.
carried right here.
Correct, yeah. So we have a motion, we have a motion and a second.
Any more discussion?
So we're not in compliance is what you're saying if we vote on it?
No, I mean, you're going with what Avatar told you, so
Right,
you're totally
okay.
compliant by voting yes on it.
Okay, I mean, I got a
You're
little,
just going with Avatar told you it's worth, you're
okay, so we already have a
fine
mo,
job to complain about it.
so we have a motion and a second, who's in favor? Okay, 3-0, unanimous.
Okay,
Go for it, John.
I'm gonna put myself back on the board.
All right, welcome back, John.
Thank you.
All right, so that takes care of that. All right, general business. The election of officers and committee assignments, we're going to postpone that until the next meeting where fellow board member Tyler Eaton can attend, so we have his input as well. But if we can't get everybody in one meeting, we'll press on with assignments and elections going forward. Stormwater asset management grant. I make a proposed motion that the Nottingham Select Board authorizes its chairman and town administrator, Chris Sterndale, to sign loan agreements and documents pertaining to application and disbursement of funds for the Clean Water SRF Loan Fund Program.
Second.
We have a second, all right, all in favor, okay, the count was 4-0, unanimous.
Motion.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Do we have to sign
No, it's
it?
just Chris and
Oh,
Tom
just-
and
okay.
Ben.
Okay. Sale of town property, Chris?
All right, just really updates. The parcel on Freeman Hall Road, that sale closed, that's in private hands, that's the corner of Kennard and Freeman Hall, that's done.
That was a 2-acre lot, correct?
Yes. The Smoke Street parcel, 102B, the buyer is struggling with title on it, despite what I think is our clear presentation of what the title was going to be and the purchase and sale agreement, spelling out exactly what that title was going to be. They're not getting title insurance because of what they see as a flaw in the taking 20 years ago. Our attorney disagrees. We're kind of in a holding pattern on it. If it requires anything from you, I'll be back to you. We have given them an extension through, I don't know, later this week maybe, to get through it. But I think we're in a kind of a take it or leave it position for the buyer. So that's where that sits. There's one motion I need you to make and discuss tonight. You have all the documentation on 2 parcels on Route 4. Those were tax deeded in January or February, and the prior owner has come forward and paid what was owed to get them back. You have the breakdown of what that
Yep.
number is. Checks have been cut and deposited, so we've been paid. You have actually signed these deeds already as part of your package. I'd just like to get in the record that you have done that in a meeting. And lastly, the Route 4 sale on a big parcel. Really no news there. I did chat with the buyer last week. He called me for kind of just a check-in and feel out on, hey, what do you think the town's response to X would be? And everything's on track. They haven't found anything that's going to get in the way so
Good.
far.
Good.
So still feels like we're in good shape on that side. This is a long due diligence period, so no news is not a worry. It's just
Yep.
just the process. So
Nice.
if you could do that one motion on the Route 4 parcels, that's all I have on the sale of town property.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the select board authorizes the deed transfer of tax map 5, lot 2-29, and map 5, lot 2-31 to Thomas and Leona Duda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? 4-0, unanimous. Chris, one question for you. I've actually had a number of residents reach out to me in regards to any other properties that the town may have that we're looking at selling.
No, we've exhausted that list. What is really easy for you to sell is properties that have been tax deeded
Yep.
in law. And most of what is left, or if not all of what is left in town hands, we either came by it some other way or we don't know how we came by it. So it is possible for the town to sell those parcels, but at that point it becomes a town meeting decision
Yep.
of selling it. So there's nothing, there's not a lot of wow parcels in that category. It's mostly dribs and drabs.
Okay.
Well, I have communications with a couple of people about a couple of small parcels that we're trying to figure out the origins of. Long, slow game there. You have sold everything that you easily can that's been tax deeded.
Awesome, great. Great. Okay, nothing else on that. Marston Well?
Yeah, so a couple things on Marston. First, they had, I think last week, the second cleanup out there, which Courtney said went very well. There wasn't a whole lot that had to be done at that point. I think she had about 12, 15 people, which is great. Said it's all looking good out there. Also wanted to give you guys an update on the fundraising. Sorry, where'd it go? Anyway, we've got about $24,000 in fundraising, and some of that comes from corporate sponsorships and donations, and some of it comes from individual donors. And the NYA, when they had signups for baseball, had an extra little checkbox of, do you want to donate to Marston? And people did. So, with regards to the well, I think, I've talked with each of you and individually, and believe everyone's on board with this, but we want to be able to move forward with getting the well out there. And I'm looking for a formal vote on this tonight. The advantage of putting the well out there and using the federal funds to cover it is twofold. And the first is that there is no public water source in town. And by putting that well out there, we will have a public water source. So in the event of, a disaster in town, people don't have any water in other parts of the town, they'll be able to come and fill jugs and stuff like that. So I think from a community standpoint, that's a great use of the funds. The other obvious is that we will be able to provide irrigation for the fields, which will protect the investment in the fields. So the approximate cost for the well is, the well, the pump, plumbing connections, the electrical breaker panels, meter sockets, water access unit, a utility shed to cover it, which will be insulated, which will provide year-round access. And then the site prep, the total cost is about $660, which is a very small, I'm sorry, $60.
Does that include the irrigation for the fields or just the well?
$60K. So that does not include the irrigation, but the irrigation and the backstops will come from the money that has been raised from the fundraising. So that would be covered by that. All of the electrical infrastructure is being provided free of charge from Carl. I mean, the work to get it all in, right, is being provided by Carl Eden. And the electrical labor is going to be provided by the IBEW. Thank you to Tyler.
Sorry,
Who is the
I gotta ask the questions.
Who's the person giving, because it's fun, you see, if you go out there, you can see all the trenches have been dug for the electrical stuff.
Yes.
So who's doing the electrical?
Well, so Carl Eden has been helping with that.
Okay,
Yeah. And then IBEW will be providing labor,
wow.
free of charge, so.
Your public works job.
And Public
Department
Works,
is-
yeah,
is taking a trench.
apology, yes. Yeah. Go ahead,
The
John.
cost of the well and the money that we're spending on the well, are we being charged by the foot, by how far the guy goes deep? Or is it just a flat cost and however he goes down to whatever he costs?
Yeah, there's a mobilization cost and then a per foot after that. So we're estimating on
Yeah.
a depth and a cost. Could be higher, could be lower. But
Well-
A big chunk of it is actually not the well, it's the trenching and
Yeah.
the support infrastructure.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
The well pricing we got is not dramatically different than what we got for the highway garage last year. It's in that neighborhood.
That's perfect.
Yep.
That explains it.
So
Good.
Donner, I'm sorry, were you done?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry. I assume this well that's gonna be in some sort of structure, building of some sort.
Yep, it's gonna be a 10 by 10 shed and Shea Concrete, I just heard today that I believe Shea Concrete is gonna provide the pads for it, free of charge. So there's, I mean, Carl, Matt, Tyler, a lot of people are working really hard to kind of get pieces of it donated that they can and.
And I assume that the shed will be secured, so nobody can just go in there and allow the water to run and all that, right? Okay,
Yeah,
all right. I would support this if it strictly falls under the federal funding. I'd rather not use any tax, town's money towards this.
no, and if you think about the fact that we're in line to get 500,000, 500,000, 250 this year, 250 next year, devoting this 60K to this public water source leaves us still 440,000 to devote to other projects, so.
Okay,
Do you have a proposed motion?
I will make a motion that the board authorize the use of the federal relief funds in the amount of approximately, in the amount of $60,000 to support the installation of a well and supporting infrastructure out at Marston.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor? 4-0, unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, impact fees appropriation.
Okay, you have a short memo from me on using impact fees for fire station loan principal. This is something we do typically every year. Use impact fees, a portion of impact fees collected for fire and rescue to pay down the loan on the firehouse. Didn't do it last year, probably a COVID miss, but it's a little bit bigger this year than last. And you are the keepers of those funds, so we need your authorization to expend them for that purpose.
All right, I make a motion, the select board approve the expenditure of $32,199 in fire department impact fees for a principal payment on the fire station bond.
A second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Could we have a discussion? I wish to address that. I think I'm on the schedule.
Go ahead, Gene.
Eugene Reed, 345 Stage Road, Nottingham. I come tonight to request the board to suspend resident impact fee accounts for payments to benefit the fire station bond alone. The request is for the following reasons. The overwhelming legal opinion is that new development must have caused the need to build the fire station. Better stated as a dual rational nexus test. The municipality must demonstrate a reasonable connection between the need for the additional capital facility and the new development causation of that capital construction. I don't know of any such test being applied. Impact fee means a fee imposed on development to help meet the quote by the law needs occasioned by that development for the construction or improvement of capital facilities. Christine Fillmore, New Hampshire, attorney at New Hampshire Municipal Association. The RSA 674-21, as used in this section, impact fee means a fee or assessment in order to help meet the needs occasioned by that development for the construction or improvement of capital facilities owned and operated by the municipality. And within that description, public safety facilities are a legitimate reason. 674-21, the amount of any such fee shall be proportional share of municipal capital improvement costs, which is reasonably related to the capital needs created by the development and to the benefits accruing to the development from capital improvements financed by the fee. upgrading of existing facilities and infrastructures that need for which is not created by new development shall not be paid for by impact fees. Christine Filtmore, again, from the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Notably, impact fees may not be charged for upgrading existing facilities or infrastructure unless the need is caused by the development. Additionally, impact fees being collected years after the fire station construction was completed certainly cannot be attributed to those properties or occasioned by, because the fire station is already existing, so they couldn't have caused it to be needed. The requirement is that the need be caused by development to spend their impact fee held by the town. If an impact fee was collected and spent on capital improvement that was made necessary by the new development, it was assessed a fee that would comply with the impact fee statute. Stephen Buckley, attorney with New Hampshire Municipal Association. So my position is the fire station was not built to meet the needs occasioned by development. The reason for building the fire station were related to septic issues, mold, and housing of existing equipment. That's a matter of record at the town meeting that was held for that. Construction was not due to the needs of new development and therefore not qualified for impact fee distribution. If an impact fee is spent on improper purpose, the courts can order a full or partial refund. See Clare versus Town of Hudson, Stephen Buckley, Legal Services, NHMD. It's clear to me, time and again, the new fire station must have been necessitated or occasioned by the impact of new development. Therefore, the need of the new fire station not being related to new development does not meet the lawful standard of applying impact fees. The planning board studies by consultants, they did 3, one for each of the fire, school, and recreation, are not approval or license to spend fees, but to quantify the amount to be collected as impact fees. In the past, I've been assured that we have legal opinions that support the spending of fire station impact fees. I was not supplied those. I request those at this time. I make this request at a time when the New Hampshire Supreme Court has ruled that a balance test be applied to legal opinions which could make them public and exempt from lawyer-client privilege. That's Hampton School versus SAU 55. I welcome your response.
Anybody have a response to that?
Well, don't we have more fire trucks than we did when we built the building?
Fire trucks are not infrastructure.
No, but we couldn't, when you said in the old building, they did it because there was mold, the building was deteriorated, so we had to build one. But we're adding to our fleet, we're adding to the department because the town's growing. I mean, it's not the building, but again, it's still the same fund, I mean.
At the time it was built, there was no justification that it was caused by new development. The fire trucks, I don't believe qualify for impact fees.
No, we're not paying for the fire, I understand
okay.
that. I'm just using the
But there
fact
was,
that.
there was a crowding situation there where it was difficult to back in there. You had the equipment that was, I think, double stacked in there. And as I say, mold and septic were the primaries. And that was at the town meeting. At the town meeting, there was never somebody that said, hey, we need it because of, I don't know, Dunbarton Estates or Oak Ridge or whatever. And that's clear.
Who are those comments attributed to, Gene, as far as the town meeting? Because we all know that sometimes at town meetings that the conversation strays and that the people with the loudest voices speak. So did you look at previous, like, select board meetings or planning board meetings where they discussed the topic as well?
No, but I welcome further input saying that it had been discussed and there was a nexus test that said this development is causing us to build a new fire station. I've been involved, as you know, in town business for a long time. I remember nothing like that happening. I remember Tom Sweeney putting on if I'm not mistaken, a video presentation. Unfortunately, Tom, rest in peace, isn't with us anymore, and I don't know if that's a matter of town record or not. But the primary thing here is, and I've read a lot and read legal opinions, that it has to be caused by the development.
But we have developments in town. We got
It
Maple Ridge, we got.
it wasn't caused by those developments, though. It was caused by
Okay,
the,
but we're experiencing a need for more manpower and all that within our.
manpower doesn't count. That's why I urge the board to read the law and get a legal opinion on what
Okay.
I've presented tonight.
So I have a
And-
question.
In addition to that, I don't know how we could say that the developments that are being charged, proposed to be charged tonight, they weren't even in existence. So how did they cause the fire station to be built?
Okay, Chris, can we get some legal input from our town attorney in regards to this?
Yes, I
I'll be-
don't know what we have on already. This is not the first time we've talked about this, but.
Yeah.
It's,
So,
if I may, I think this is the first time I've
If-
presented on the fire station.
Gene, if,
Yes.
if this will satisfy you, I would recommend to table this until we hear more from our town attorney. Is that fair?
Oh, yes, it is fair. I got one more piece here that's, Charlie Brown had brought this up in January of 2018, and I'll gladly give these to you, Chris. That he has concerns about spending impact fees. And I'll spare you the whole thing, but he says, some feel that impact fees are a windfall. I feel they may be just the opposite. And this had to do at that time, Chris, I think you were here with the CIP. We discussed impact fees there. I feel that the CIP, oh, okay, I'll leave you the whole thing. But anyhow, he had his concerns at that time. You have copies, of course. It's okay if I give this to Chris?
Yes, please.
Do you have that on electronic copy that you can email it to me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you my.
Can you, okay, please.
So the question here is, should the board table this until we have more legal input from the town attorney?
Yep,
Well, we did complete the vote. I mean,
we did not vote. We did not.
we all
vote.
raised our hands just.
But I did not have an opportunity to say it was unanimous.
May I say that it came to the point of a motion and a second, and then discussion is when I jumped in.
Well, I do think, Tony, we were like all half
Yes.
Yeah,
working
yeah,
our way up.
yeah.
That's when I interrupted.
All right, so, John, are you in favor of tabling this?
Sure. Well, let's just see what they say. I mean, I personally think they should be used for the building, but I'll listen to what the attorney
Yeah, I
says.
mean, we
Well,
can,
let's make sure we're doing things.
Yeah.
Tony?
there's no harm in waiting a couple of weeks
That's
to
fine.
All
get.
right, so
yeah,
do we need,
get
do you
some
need a motion for
information.
that? All right, someone?
No, I don't need a motion. I know what you want.
All right,
Should you, should you, just a minute, should you close that by saying a vote wasn't taken or something procedurally, since there wasn't a motion in a second? You do what you want, just an,
Mr. Bartlett recommended tabling the issue.
okay.
The board can.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for looking
Thank you,
further
Gene.
into it.
Gene, you
Thank you.
representing yourself?
Lorraine, thank you.
At the present time, I'm representing myself.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Do we need non-public?
Any non-public, A&E?
Any action item reviews for next meeting?
Oh, for the next meeting? Yes. We need to have an open discussion about Article 20 that was voted on at town meeting and what we're gonna do.
Okay.
I still can run through the warrant if you want me to do that, but if you want to not deal with that, that's fine.
I'm just about making it an action item for next meeting.
Yeah, let's just,
Well,
Before you go to non-public, if you want me to do that.
the one thing I'll say about next meeting is Chris is not gonna be here next meeting. And we-
Chris, just run through it. Just run through it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to start at the end, Article 20, you have to decide what you want to do with that vote. Your attorney has advised you that the vote on Article 20 was advisory only, has no authority. You have the authority over that subject matter, so that policy remains on the books until you take it off or amend it or whatever.
But you want a bigger discussion, you don't want.
That's
No,
where you are.
well,
That's where you sit right
I
there.
think we should, as a board, have an open discussion about it, because the fact that the town voted on it, I mean, people
Yeah,
voted
okay,
for it, so
okay.
we can't just brush it under the table and not address it.
Correct, I agree.
However we decide, it still doesn't make a difference on what they voted for, but we should open and have a conversation.
Okay, I agree.
So
But I
that's
think
a,
that, but I think that's more time than what we have for today.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I put those next
Future
meeting, next, yeah,
future meeting subject.
nothing.
Yes.
Okay. I will move quickly. I know you want a quick version of this. Just to give you an update on where we sit on each of the items, virtually everything passed, so I'll just tell you where we are on each of them. Articles 2 and 3 were zoning amendments. Those are in place. The only thing that you will see is probably a discussion about fees for conditional use permits. We don't have a stated fee for that, and those are becoming a bigger feature within the zoning
Yep.
ordinance. A conditional use permit issued by the planning board. We don't have, I believe at this point, we have authority to charge a fee for that. So you're gonna see something on that. Article 4 was the operating budget that passed. Thank you to the voters for giving us the tools to do that stuff for the year. You just signed your MS 232, which is the report back to DRA that says this is what
Yep.
we voted on. On your, not your next meeting, but after I come back and, a couple weeks later, we'll do a Q2 financials update, so you'll be able to see where we are. The year's half over, so it's time to start looking at the
Unbelievable.
budget. So we'll do that at yours. I think your second July meeting, we'll have a Q2 with your approved budget and actuals and where we sit on that stuff. Article 5 was the stormwater asset management loan and program. You authorized that tonight. That'll go through governor and council. There's a whole bunch of bureaucracy to do before the work can start. It will probably start late summer, early fall. 6 and 7 are fire-related routine things. Article 8 was the renovations at the fire station. The chief is drawing up what's probably going to be an RFQ on those. He's got a budget number. He's going to say this is going to go out and say this is what I'm looking for. What can you do for this number? And have something. That's the process he's going to use. He has had a contractor involved with estimating and stuff like that, but we'll do some.
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you for one second, but could that possibly also fall under this federal funding?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right.
Article 9 is highway reconstruction and maintenance. We went out to bid. This is contracted paving work essentially this year. No big reconstructions, but a lot of resurfacing and a few new methods. We went out to bid, got bids back about 10 days ago. Sean McLean dug into those bids, thought we had a low bidder, but then started finding some inconsistencies and being unable to compare apples to apples with the bid results that he got back. So we've gone back out to bid with our vendors to make sure that we really know what we're getting at what price. Those are due back, I think, later this week. Article 10 and 11 relate to the highway truck. We have ordered the dump truck. This is the one that takes the place of the dying truck. Unfortunately, we're not going to get delivery on our new one until probably March. We're going to have to get another winter out of the one that's limping along right now. That's, you've heard that story. That's a supply chain problem.
Could we get a contractor in his place?
If we're working on a backup, so, we've got drivers for all our trucks, so we will work on a backup for that. If, God forbid, we go down a whole truck, it's hard to get somebody to commit to being a backup because they can.
If this truck is such a headache, just before we get to winter, just take it out of service and replace it with a contractor so we don't have to worry about it.
If we can find one, we might just do
Okay.
that.
All right.
That may leave us with an extra driver though, so we gotta juggle those things.
Okay.
Put somebody in a smaller vehicle, that kind of thing. But there's not a lot of contractors available. We've seen that for years.
Right.
Especially with heavy trucks. We can find light trucks, but we can't find heavy trucks that we can depend on. Article 12 was the reval. Article 13 is the renovation of the community center kitchen. I think the building inspector is going to take the lead on that project, but we're juggling a lot right there at this point, so I don't think we're going to see any motion on it immediately. And I really don't want to go out looking for a contractor and materials on a project like that right now either.
No, everything's 300% or more.
Where we've got we're down a land use clerk right now. We got a vacancy in that office, so that's
Yeah.
gonna spill over on him, and, so I don't have a lot of progress to report on that, but we're gonna do it, we don't have it yet. Article 14 is the front-end loader purchase. We thought we had one identified, and then did a demo at the pit last week, and our guys were really underwhelmed with what they were working with, so they're bringing another one this week to try a different vendor. Just weren't happy with what they got.
Good.
And the numbers are moving on, with tight availability on some things, the prices are moving. And Sean's been working on making sure our trade-in value moves at the same time. So
Yeah.
he's juggling those two things at the same time.
And he's getting this through the state bid?
That's in the mix. The
Okay.
state bid is in the mix.
All right.
Yeah. We may not go that path, but we'll certainly use that to compare. Article 15 was the E911 addressing compliance.
That's gonna be fun.
That wasn't supposed to pass. We don't know how we're gonna do that, because we don't have the people right now. Our E911 coordinator just left, so we are setting up initial meetings with the state on what that process will look like. It's looking more like doing it in segments rather than doing the whole town at once.
Yeah,
The state employee that does our E911 work is also leaving, so we've got two juggles there. We're looking forward to getting that done right, but it's gonna go slow. Article 16 is the entrance to the south side cemetery. That is gonna get put in with the paving bids that are out for roads right now, so that'll happen at the same time. Article 17 is the tricentennial ETF. Maybe we have one more year of that. You still have not given us, and I don't know what you're waiting for from the committee, but we're 6 months away from 2022. We don't have a budget or we don't have guidance from you on what to approve for expenses. We've gone through, we can buy some t-shirts and some flags, and we really need you to work with the 300 and get to some kind of decision path, so that we're not
Yep.
micromanaging that or get their planning moving.
Is this something that we should have them come to the meeting, or?
I think you've left off with get us show us what you want to do, and we'll sign off on it.
Chris, is this an appropriate topic to just kind of like have a workshop with them?
Sure.
Let's have a workshop and let's work through it.
All right.
And
I'm seeing that they're starting to have dates, and the contracts can't be far behind, but you have
they need to come with what their vision is and what the costs are. And we need to have an idea of how much we're willing to spend on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who's gonna be, you've had this tremendous outpouring of volunteer support to do this planning. We should have some confidence that they're ready to do the executing as well, and that's a different ask for
Correct.
a volunteer
Yep.
to take that on, so.
And there's bigger implications, particularly around safety.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's a invite for a workshop?
yes.
Article 18 is the invasive species ETF. You have the PLIA here next week. Article 19 is the acceptance of the new private roads. We could probably spend a night on that, but I'll give you the quick rundown. We have to figure out, our first objective is to figure out exactly where these things are. It's obvious, you can drive down the road and see this is a road. But when push comes to shove, we need to know where they are on the approved plans. Whatever's been through the planning board and has been signed by the planning board is what's going to govern what the right-of-way or what it is that the town took. We don't have any idea.
So you're saying these roads will have to be surveyed?
I don't think we're going to have to go that far.
Okay.
God, I hope not. We do need, however, to get some help in doing that research with our own documents and with the registry. I'm waiting for some suggestions from our attorneys on who we might bring in to help us with that. Again, we don't have anybody in-house that has that
Yep.
ability at this
Yep.
point. That really sets up everything in the future about where we're doing our work and what we've just bought.
Okay.
We have to know what it is.
Yep.
And where it is. We're evaluating the new pieces. There are chunks of roads that were not emergency, had never been emergency lanes that are now Class 5 roads. Those are new to us. We don't know, I mean, we've driven them obviously, but we got to think about what our equipment can do, what it's gonna, what, we have a culvert and a couple of guardrails and, we got to figure out what it is that those are. What can our equipment handle? What are we gonna need help with? Sean's already having conversations with at least one contractor about what they're gonna be able to take on. We've got more mileage now to plow and
Yep.
so he started on those conversations.
How would you say it? I mean, again, I mean, this is not, I mean, you're going over the article, but how you just try, I mean, what are the more mileage we have?
Dolph Dam Road, there's a
Yeah.
segment that breaks off, that's never been an emergency lane, that's now a Class 5 road. From the top of the hill on Jamsa and
Saks.
Saks, thank you. The emergency lanes only covered about half of those roads, and now the whole road is a Class 5 road, so
One of
what's
those-
over the other side of the hill is now ours. We gotta learn what that is. And we gotta learn where those roads end. One of them drives into the lake by way of what looks like a boat ramp. I don't know if we just bought a boat ramp. I don't know, we gotta go learn the plans. We gotta understand what the road is. So that's an example of why we have to know what's in the plans. So those are new. Those three pieces are new. I don't think there's anything else. Those are the three that come to mind as stuff that has not been an emergency. I'm meeting with the leadership of the planning board and our planners from Stratford Regional this week, I think Wednesday, to talk through the legal framework that they're gonna have to operate under right there. Private roads and Class 5 roads are treated differently in the planning and zoning context. That affects the building inspector as well, what he is able to approve and what, so what we're looking at there is probably in the short to midterm is a case-by-case evaluation of anything that comes before our boards and our building inspector and code enforcement. We're gonna have to drill down on what those plans are and what's,
Got to work it out for us. Yeah.
you can see the theme is recurring here. Things that we're not gonna pay attention to yet, but we know are on the radar are signage. You can't make a speed limit slow enough that makes sense on those roads.
Right.
Right,
Yep.
you can only go down to, I don't know, 30 maybe or
I thought it was
something.
25 or.
25 in an intersection.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks you can drive 25 miles an hour on a lot of those
My
roads.
husband does.
So we can't do any of that. Utility easements, there are presumably utility easements in the corridors of those roads. We have pole licensing concerns about that, and those are gonna come out in the plans. And the other piece we're gonna ignore for now is the parts of those roads that are in Raymond. We have stranded Class 5 roads that you have to drive over private roads to
Yep.
get to.
Yep.
Tuckaway Shores, Moores is private, but south at the end of Moores is now Class 5, so we have a stranded Class 5. We're just gonna,
Yep.
we're gonna put that off. We can't figure that out for right now. So that's the speed run through on 19.
Hang on a second.
yeah.
I just, with regards to the whole thing about the private roads and the lawsuit and everything, from this point forward, I'm no longer recusing myself from discussions with attorneys related to the lawsuit.
I'm the same. Okay.
Okay, so you're all back in, I'll copy you in on the latest correspondence. The only thing that's happening at this point, and we can be public with this because it's a public court document, there was a hearing scheduled for this coming Monday on the class action aspects of that suit. That has been continue to probably 2 months from now with our consent, because most of the class is now gone, or it's moot
Yep.
in all likelihood. The plaintiffs in that case need to decide how they're gonna proceed in that case, so.
Yep.
That would have been granted by the court with all deliberate speed anyway, so. That's just kind of on hold, waiting for the plaintiffs to decide how to proceed in the new legal construct that we have here. Anything else on 19? 20 we talked about, 21 was the redistricting request to the legislature. The very end of that said you are to write to the senators and all that, and Ben signed those letters, they're out the door. That is the warrant.
Okay. So if there's no other business, we'd like to go into non-public. Someone would like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we go into non-public per RSA 91 -A:3 to A and E.
Okay, we have,
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, Ben Bartlett.
Hi, John Moore. However you wanna go. We're going by order.
I Donna Danus.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Nottingham.
When we come out,
When
we'll
we come
close.
out.
When we come out, we'll be closing the meeting in the minutes.
This is, was Carl Eden. That's who he-
Eden, E-D-I-N.
When